code of the streets, Proverbs 13:20. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Jacob found me the next afternoon on a cracked bench near the basketball court, his silhouette dark against the pale, washed-out sky. He dropped down beside me, lighting a cigarette with the easy confidence of someone who never feared consequences. For a long moment, the only sound was the distant thud of a ball hitting concrete. Jacob spoke without turning his head, his voice low but deliberate. The streets have their rules, you know. He exhaled smoke, watching it curl upward before dissolving. People might think they make their own choices, but the truth is, the streets make them for you. He turned to me then, his eyes sharp and unforgiving. You talk, you die out here, for real or in every way that matters. Snitches don't get second chances. The weight of his words dropped into the pit of my stomach, heavy, suffocating. My mouth felt dry, my head like it was stuffed with static. Later that evening, Shey Shey found me pacing near the corner store like a ghost haunting its own grave. She watched me approach with a knowing look, her groceries conspicuously absent this time. Her voice was quieter than usual, more deliberate, as she asked if I was okay. Her eyes flicked to the darkened alleyway, then back to me. You know who did it, don't you? It wasn't a question so much as a statement, her words slicing straight through my feeble pretense. My heart pounded in my chest, every beat feeling like a betrayal. I tried to deny it, to shake my head, but she didn't need my answer. She already knew. You've got to be careful, she muttered. Out here, knowing too much can get you buried. She turned and walked away before I could respond, leaving me feeling exposed, as though she'd stripped my very thoughts bare. The cops swarmed the neighborhood by midweek, their unmarked cars prowling the streets like hungry predators. They didn't speak much to anyone, but their presence was suffocating. Word spread fast that they had no solid leads, just suspicions, but that didn't make their questions any less chilling. Kids avoided them, adults gave clipped answers, and Jacob smirked from across the pavement like he was untouchable. I caught one of the plainclothes detectives eyeing me from a distance, their expression unreadable but heavy with implication. My stomach twisted into knots, paranoia sinking its claws into me. Was I acting normal? Did my face give me away? Every time I saw an officer, I felt like I was walking on a wire stretched above an abyss, one wrong move from plunging straight into it. Elijah cornered me beneath the stairwell that evening, his shadow stretching long against the cracked concrete walls. He leaned against the rail, arms folded, his usual quiet intensity burning in his gaze. His question landed like a hammer on fragile glass, shattering the silence between us. What did you see? My throat tightened, the memory of Jacob's lecture clawing its way to the front of my mind. I'm no rat, I mumbled, almost too low to hear, my voice shaky but resolute. I stick to the code. Elijah tilted his head, studying me like I was some equation he couldn't solve. The code of the streets, huh? His voice wasn't mocking, but it wasn't kind either. Who created that code? He straightened, his expression hardening. Seems to me it's designed to keep the worst of us among us. His words lingered like an echo long after he turned and disappeared into the night. The weight of Elijah's question jammed itself into my mind, twisting and digging deeper with every passing hour. Who does the code really protect? The idea gnawed at me, sickening and cruel in its simplicity. Jacob's voice taunted me alongside it, whispering that the streets decide who you are. That choice doesn't exist when survival hangs in the balance. Shey Shey's piercing gaze joined the chorus, reminding me that there was no hiding from truth. Not in this place, not in this life. I sat on my bed staring at the wall, the voices tangling, battling, driving at me with no mercy. My chest felt tight, my hands trembling as I gripped the edge of the mattress. The more I tried to tune them out, the louder they grew. By Friday, the block was quieter than usual, the kind of quiet that presses against your ears and makes every sound sharper, more surreal. Every glance felt heavy, every conversation hushed. I saw Jacob holding court near the corner, his laugh barking out like a challenge to the fragile calm. Across the way, Shey Shey leaned against a lamppost, headphones around her neck, her eyes scanning the street like she was searching for something unseen. I caught her watching me, her face hard to read, but not indifferent. My pulse quickened despite myself, that gnawing suspicion she knew more than she let on, tightening its grip. The next time the officer approached me, I felt a strange mix of dread and defiance rise in my chest. They asked a few innocent-seeming questions, their tone conversational, but the weight behind their words was unmistakable. I shrugged my responses, playing dumb, trying to remind myself of Jacob's warning. Still, the detectives' calm demeanor unnerved me, like they were cataloging every tick, every hesitation. When they finally left, a sharp, cold panic hit me. I wasn't sure if I'd passed their test or planted more doubt. It felt like a vice closing in on me from every angle, the room shrinking though I stood in the open air. That night, I avoided sleep like it was a trap waiting to spring. Elijah's voice echoed faintly in my head again, questioning the prison-like freedom the streets offered, and I hated that his words cracked something inside me. I stared at the city lights bleeding through the blinds, listening as the streets hummed their relentless, predatory tune. Jacob's words seemed to blend with the whispers outside, warning me of the cost of stepping out of line, of choosing another path. I stayed motionless, clutching the edge of my blanket, as though holding on to it could keep me from unraveling completely.